You trying to show off with your little silver slugger and your gold glove back? I mean, I got one of them too. I ain't got it behind me. I don't
You ain't got
understand.
no
Like,
gold
what, you trying to
glove.
show off?
You ain't got gold. Stop. You ain't got no
Man,
gold glove.
I do
I don't
somewhere.
know
I got
how
it
that
painted. I got one painted.
I don't know how that got here, man, but I do
Right?
have
Look,
something that's special.
look, you do. I
AJ,
got
Come
her.
on.
Look, yep.
AJ,
Wow.
yeah.
Look what I got too. I got this one. Look at this guy. It ain't got no gold
Oh,
yet,
that
but
looks
look,
like any other black guy I ever seen.
look. It's signed with two eyes. Two eyes. This is when you can learn how to spell with two eyes.
Yeah, that's 2 eyes. That was after I learned how to spell.
That's right. That's right. I remember when you signed that. Let's not kid each other.
Harmon Killebrew, man. You know Harmon Killebrew was
Uh,
that guy. He set us down and said, everybody, you should sign and hit every letter. Every fan deserves to have a time well thought out autograph, and that's
I
how
mean,
he presented to us.
I've told that story many times on this show to you that Harmon Killebrew sat you down and was like, "You're gonna sign it right, or we're not getting up." And he'd make you sit there for hours and just work on signing and
Yep.
signing and signing. It was great. It still works out because people now they come up to you and say, "Man, you have a nice autograph, right?"
Yeah, and you know what? He told me the story. I was like 21 years old, and he said, "Hey, imagine kids playing on the field, and they hit the ball in the a guy hits a home run is outside in the fields, and it goes in the bushes, and they're looking for the ball, they can't find it, but they find one ball, and it just has T/H/. They don't know who it is, so they say, "Hey, we found another ball to play with." But rewind that. Got kids hit the home run and they're looking for the ball, and then they found the ball and it says TORIIHUNTER. He said they go look it up and they find out you was a decent player, and then they put it on a pedestal. And I was like, wow. All right, now he got me. He told me that story about hitting every letter so people can know who you are. And 150 years from now, they can look it up and say, I knew, I see this guy was a great player, and I'm going to put it on the pedestal.
Yeah, it should be an autograph. It should be a Hall of Famer, but that's not what we're talking about here because we don't get many New Britain Rock Cats on this show that play with AJ. And rarely do I get any. All I get is big league stories. Oh, I was hanging out with Jordan. Oh, T-Nuts and T-Nuts and B-Law and Brad Radke. It's always big league stories. I need one non-big league story about AJ because AJ was never hurt. He's always around the popular kids. He's the quarterback in high school that never talked to anybody that wasn't on the football team. So I need one minor league story about AJ that ain't nobody heard of.
Well, hey, they're rated R. I really can't put AJ on the spot like that.
Hey, be
They're probably
careful.
X-rated,
Be
but
be careful. Be careful now, because I got some stories now on you too. So be
yeah,
careful what you say. And minor
yeah,
actually PG rated. We're gonna get into one here in a minute.
yeah. You know what? I can't say the things I want to say on air. I'm gonna wait
Okay.
till my book come out. But
uh,
man, but one thing about AJ, man, he was 1994 draft. I was 93. He came from a different background than me. So AJ was, to me, he was a rich kid. And AJ just, hey, but he played like he was a hood kid. He played hard, reckless, trying to destroy somebody. I mean, I'm like, wow, this guy, you kind of earned my respect through the minor leagues, and so when you got to the major leagues, I don't think people understood who you were, but I did, and I knew you were a gamer and you cared about the team. And but let me tell you this story. I'll never forget it. Now this is the big leagues again. I'm sorry, but we're playing the Oakland A's in the playoffs, and the Oakland A's couldn't stand AJ. And this is 2002, and they had the three-headed monster. It was Mulder, Hudson, and Zito. And Tim Hudson hit AJ in the game, and AJ turned and let it hit his butt and picked it up and flipped it to Tim Hudson. All you saw was smoke come from Tim Hudson head, and man, they were after him for the rest of his career.
hey, I
And
didn't
then
do.
he
I should have. I should have learned from you though, because you fired it back at Danny Baez, and so I was on deck for that debacle, and you hit him in
Yeah.
the leg as hard as I ever seen anybody hit. But I don't care about that part of the story. Everyone's seen that part of the story. Now, what I want to know is the aftermath of the story, because people say, and he swears by this, he told this story to the newspaper, and you know what I'm talking about. Danny Baez in Cleveland said he tried to come into our clubhouse and fight you. Now, what would have happened if Danny Baez would have come in our clubhouse and tried to fight you? And be honest, there would
He
be
would
no
have
more
got
Danny Baez,
he would have got these hands. I can tell you that for sure.
right? Like,
I
hey,
wouldn't have
thank
backed
you.
down from that. But he came over to the clubhouse and he apologized. So
Thank you.
and he apologized, and you know what I supposed to do? When I saw him come in, my hands went up like, let's go. And he said, no, I want to apologize. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional. I don't really do that. And man, let me tell you something. Dennis Baez, you know, for the rest of his career, we sat down, we had a conversation, and he's one of the nicest guys in the world. But when he hit me with 99 or 98 in the ribs, where I almost pooped myself, he hit me so hard, all I felt was bowel movement.
That's
Dude,
funny.
that's unbelievable. You stunned me. You stunned me on my next. I just want to ask: do you think now in the game? Do you watch the game now? Do you feel like guys play with that extra anger? Like you said, you would have thrown hands. Like now, dudes are like, you know what? I'm gonna just slide through and make sure I get to my contract year. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying, do you feel like there's enough fire in the game for dudes? Because what you said so far is how mad you were in that situation and how hood AJ played, which is the first time it's ever been said on FT that AJ's anything hood. But anyway, like, do you think that's in the game?
You know what? I think you have some. I think you have less than most. It's just a different society. It's a different game. It's a different world. You know, we're a little softer, all of us, you know, and since I had grandchildren, granddaughters, I got softer. So I can see the change. But in the game, they got so many rules and so many different things. And these guys are not trained to hit a guy after you get hit. And our pitchers went out and said, you know what, I got your back. I'm gonna go out here and stick this guy. So we kind of policed ourselves. I think we kind of got away from that, but I think it's still there. Some guys I really like that actually go out and they make things happen. But I think we kind of got away from all that aggressiveness, and I would call it. And the game has gotten a little softer, not soft, but a little softer. And I love to see some people out there with some aggression, some aggressiveness, taking that extra 90 feet, always prepared and ready to throw to the bases. I see people just get the ball and they don't know what to do and they just throw the ball. Defense is totally different. No one, it's rare. I ain't gonna say no one, but it's rare that I see people go first to third, you know, with intent. And so it's a different game. You know, we battled at the plate, we struck out, but we battled at the plate and we argued calls, you know, and it's just different. I mean, you don't see that much anymore. And our managers were very aggressive. Our managers got thrown out, and they knew when they were going to get thrown out, and that you don't see that much anymore either.
Hey, Torii, I got two questions for you. You're talking about being hood. All right, so you can tell me this is not true, and you can tell me I'm lying, but this is a true story. Spring training one year, you had a white Explorer, and then you came in and it was purple the next year, or was it the other way? And we said, Torii, what the hell happened? And you said someone shot at my car thinking I was someone else, so I had to change the color.
Yeah, that's actually that's so true. I had
Right?
a white I had a white Explorer, and and going into I think 94, 95, and then in 96, 95, 96, my brother had my truck, and Taru, you know, AJ, you know my brother Taru is a tough guy,
Yeah.
big muscle guy, and tough guy in the hood too. And so they got into it with some guys, and the guys came back and shot up my white truck. And I was married with kids. I let them borrow it while I was out of town, and I was married with kids. And I said, you know what, I can't have this happening. So I painted the truck, and it came back like purple, midnight purple. and I never went back. I changed my destination from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to somewhere else. So I had to get out.
People that don't know your story, like if they really don't know, you really need to check up on Tori's story from when he was a kid. It's incredible where you are now, and it really is.
Kratz, let's talk about the #1 recommended dermatologist hair growth supplement brand, and it's a brand that you are just starting your journey with.
I'm using about 1.5, 2 months into my journey. It's a 6-month journey. See what I can get. See a little thicker, fuller everywhere, filling it out. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm very excited to see the Nutrafol results with Kratz. And don't show us your hat yet, okay? You got to stay tuned through this journey. And if you want to join Kratz for this journey, you can start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering FT listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code FOUL. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code FOUL.
We have this picture we're going to show, okay? And it's from us in New Britain. It's a long time ago. And I want to ask this story because Britain, we used to work for the Orioles. Do you remember what happened when we was in Bowie that time? And the dude hit you. And you went to fight him in the other clubhouse, and we had to stop the game because you were chasing the dude to his car in Bowie?
Yeah, his name was Matt. It was Matt something, and he was a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
Doug McCavish hits a home run, and he pimps it. He only has like one homer, but he pimps the homer. He hits the homer and watches it for an hour. And I'm like, oh, man. So he missed me the first time when I got up to the plate. He threw inside and missed me. So, and then he threw a pitch away. So I didn't think he was going to hit me. Then he threw it right at my neck, and he hit me in the neck. And I looked, I didn't know if he did it on purpose. So I looked out at him. He was like, come on. So I went out there and, put these hands on him and baptized him. And then I got kicked out of the game. And then I'm watching the game after I took a shower. I'm in my street clothes. I was just watching the game from left field fence. And the guy, Matt, was on the other side of Bowie. And he started screaming and yelling. And I'm like, what's up? And he had his ice on his shoulder. And he was like, meet me behind the fence. So I was like, bet. And I ran behind the fence. And he ran behind it and ran back and said, he's trying to get me. He's trying to get me. And he set me up pretty good. So I didn't ever see him again. But if I see him today, I still might just have to get him.
There you go, T.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, man. New Britain Rockcast. Hard-hitting New Britain. We had a hell of a team.
We did have a hell of a team. But oh, man. That was some fun times. Yeah, some fun times and hard hitting.
It was. Hey, no one knows, but in 1997, me and a guy named Harmon Brown, I think it was a year before you got there in 98.
Yeah.
Harmon Brown and I, we slept in the car. We knew we were going on the road. That first series of opening series at home, we were going on the road after 6 days. And we couldn't find a place to stay, and we didn't have the money to stay. So we slept in the parking lot of the stadium, the New Britain Rockcast Stadium. Slept in that parking lot. When everybody went home, we pretend like we were leaving. We'd go right to the car and sleep in the car. And we couldn't wait to go on the road. But Rich was the clubhouse guy, and he actually allowed us to come in and wash our clothes, brush our teeth, take a shower, and then we would leave early in the morning, go to the mall and hang out there until it was time to report at 12:01. And then we went on the road and they paid for our hotel. We got our first check. Then we were able to stay in the Hawthorne. We had enough money to stay in the Hawthorne Hotel in New Britain. So, and that's our story, man. I was afraid to tell anybody. I was embarrassed. I was like, man, I can go back to the hood and live better than this. And it was a rough time in 1997, man. It was the year I almost quit. And but ended up getting called up to the big leagues, and I was 3 months before thinking about quitting, and then I got called up. So it changed everything for me.
Torii, I got to ask, because you're a guy who's very well liked, well respected. Obviously, you have the career. Do you have any interest in managing someday, Torii, and returning to the field in that capacity?
You know what? I try to stay next to Ron Washington as much as I can when I'm there. I'm there at least 5 to 10 days a month. I got a lot of businesses going on here, a lot of things going on here. It keeps me pretty busy. But if I can get my thrill or my feel of baseball, and I try to stay around Ron Washington as much as I can and get a rapport with the players, get to know them. And the last couple years, man, I've definitely built a rapport with some of the players, and also learned a lot from Ron Washington and all the other coaches in there as well. But yeah, man, when I'm there, man, my stress level is down. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I enjoy it. My wife said I come back happier. She said, and it's a great place to be for me. And yes, I can see myself managing one day, if if I'm allowed to.
No, you want to be a GM. You want to be a GM. That's cool. Then you can hire me as your manager. We can fight. That'd be fun. See, that'd be fun. That'd be fun
That'd be
times. We could
fun.
argue. We could argue over what player's good and what player sucks, and then we could smile and go get Tender Smokehouse when we're done. You can pay for it too,
Yeah,
because you made
no
you
hard
made too much
feelings. It's
money.
just it's just
I agree.
it's your opinion, it's what you feel, but the intent is still about winning. So that's
Agree.
something I will always keep in mind, because your intent, and I know who you are, is about winning. And my intent, you know who I am, it's about winning. So regardless, we have different opinions. I definitely we can come to a compromise in that situation as leaders.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Before you go, and then we're going to talk about your barbecue joint that you will not give me for free. So I'm mad. But you
Sure.
remember in 2004. So when I was with the Twins, the White Sox and the Twins, they hated each other. We would talk. They would talk a lot of trash, and we would kick their ass. Right. So they would
Right.
talk trash, and we would kick their ass. So then in
Yes.
2004, you ran over Jamie Burke for no reason. You were dirty as hell. Ran him over. Now you know that if you would have tried that junk the next year when I was there, it would have been you in the hospital and not Jamie Burke. So you just know that. Just think if you would have just waited a year, how your whole life would have. You would have had no gold gloves, no silver bats. You would have had nothing, and I'd be buying you Tender Smokehouse.
AJ, man, you know what? If that was you, I would have put a little extra oomph on it just to put you to sleep. And then I would have came to the hospital and brought you some chocolates. Man, you know what? Jamie Burke, man, and I heard he was a nice guy, but all the trash talk the White Sox did, man, and in the media to us, they hit us, they threw behind us, they did everything possible to try to shake us up those years prior to, and in that situation, I saw where Jamie Burke was standing there, and I saw the ball coming. He was standing there like as if the ball wasn't coming to trip me up. So I just took him out before the ball got there, and I was safe. And I think that year we won the division. So we were behind. I think in the standings around that time, and it kind of shifted for us after that. So man, I just played the game the way I was supposed to play it. I played hard. I played within the rules, never outside the rules, and that was part of the rules then.
Torii, so AJ keeps trying to get free barbecue, but can you tell people who aren't familiar about Tender Smokehouse and kind of how this whole thing originated? It got great reviews on Yelp, started in 2017 in Saline, right? Now there's a couple different
Selena,
locations. Salina? Now
Salina,
there's a couple
Texas.
different
Yeah.
Salina. Now there's a couple different
Yeah.
locations, right? A bunch of different
Oh
places. You got
yeah.
Frisco, Little Elm, Aubrey, Whitesboro. How did this all come about? And Evan Grant, a friend of the show, a Rangers beat writer for quite a while,
Yeah.
said it is legit as well. It's not just the Torii Hunter name.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to put my name on there just in case, I do something bad in the world. You don't put your name on anything. But and you know what? We started in 2017. My dad always say he's a grill master, and he taught all his boys, 7 boys, how to barbecue. And some guy came to me and said, hey, I want to start a barbecue joint. Would you join me? And it was my son's father-in-law. So we joined in, and if I was making the barbecue, we'd be out of business. But I'm definitely not making. I delegate. I put the right people in place. We got great managers. We got a great team all around me. But man, I got to tell you, would I rather hit a slider or have 161 employees or team members? I think I'd rather hit the slider. Running a business is so hard. But at the end of the day, AJ, when you give a check to those young men and women, and you give a check to them and they go home and have food, shelter, and clothing, there's nothing more powerful than creating jobs and people can go home and have food, shelter, and clothing, man. I'm fulfilled. I love it. And yeah, people say you don't need the money, but you know what? It's bigger than me. It's not about me making money. You do things, you have solution to problems, you get the money. But right now, I'm just trying to be a solution to a problem.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.